But it's really not, is it?
No.
No. So, guys, that if you think for 1 minute that you're going to get the truth in the Erie Times, whatever it's called here, or the Harrisburg News, or the New York Times, you're grossly mistaken. It's nothing but a pack of lies, okay? And look, you better wake up. If you value your kids' lives, that if you want that your own kids to have a better life than what that you and I've had, if the system is not controlled, I guarantee you that they won't, all right? Jim, you know what I get upset is I see in the malls, I'll sit there and I'll watch all these girls with their kids, and look, it's great, they love them. Look, they want the very, very best. But as soon as you mention that this system here could damage, oh no, I'm sorry, I don't want to hear any of that. Yeah. Jim, I just don't understand, you know, stand it. This is our country. This is our life. And for us to sit back and allow these criminals to do this to us, I'm amazed. I just don't understand it. Right, let's go on with this now. People, listen up now.
The Federal Reserve, not the Treasury, determines how much currency is printed, based mainly on estimates of commercial banks and public cash demands. Under this arrangement, the government can't print more Federal Reserve notes to pay its bills or debts. Since most U.S. money is checkbook money, the printing presses have little to do with the buying power of money.
And who said that?
That's, I bet you thought, from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York City, page 12.
Sure, let's go on.
Does the Federal Reserve create money?
Right.
Put another way, when the Federal Reserve buys government securities, it is by the mere stroke of a pen putting new money into the banking system. Money which itself can lead to the creation of even more new money. When the Federal Reserve writes a check, it is creating money.
Now, for a layman, that may be hard to understand.
Well, how about if I write a check and it bounces?
Right.
Okay, because there's no money in my account. If they write a check and there's no money in account, there is money now because they've written a check where
their check doesn't bounce.
Their check doesn't bounce, even if there's no money in the account.
So how can that be, Jim? How can that be?
They're creating the money out of nothing.
Based upon what?
They're monetizing negotiable instruments that they are taking from we the people.
Okay. And two, what's going on? Let's read the next one. Then I'm going to explain a major point.
Do the commercial banks create money in the form of loans? One institution, the commercial bank, creates new money, checkbook money. When it lends to its producers and workers, borrowing money from the commercial banks, the banks put this new money into circulation.
Wait a minute. What is new money, people? What is new money, Jim?
New money?
Yes.
That would be a checkbook account they create in your name and just put digits into it.
That we all know, Jim, that we all know now that when you go in to take out a loan, that the bank actually lends you money. Is that not true?
The bank never lends money, and it never lends its deposits out.
Jim, I have a hard time with that. Look, I'm 57 years old now, right? I've dealt with banks. Then I know that every time that I go in, I take out a loan, the bank gives me a check, right? And that check doesn't bounce. So what do you mean now that the bank never lends money?
When you go in for a loan, you sign a promissory note. They take the promissory note, they monetize it, it's a negotiable instrument, and they create the funds from your signature on the promissory note, and they put funds into your account in a demand deposit account or a checkbook account in your name. They never actually take money out of their assets account and put any money into your account. They just add the figures in from the negotiable instrument and create it off of your negotiable instrument. They never take money out of their assets account.
That's right. Right, we're going to explore that now, like in the last half of this thing. But look at question number 7. This just proves now exactly what we've been saying here. Do the banks cause recessions, Jim?
They retract the money supply.
Yeah,
but bank credit isn't a one-way street. It adds to your money supply, to be sure, but our money supply declines as bank credit is repaid. Banks then can destroy or extinguish money as well as create it.
Now, I have a hard time with that. I go into people's homes, Jim, and they look at me like, Mickey, that you're wrong. Let me explain this. And when you go in, you take out a bank loan, and the bank has no money at all. And here's a book now that's been used for at least 50 years in Yale, Harvard, Youngstown State, Edinburgh, the whole way down the line. And Jim, would you please read now what this book states?
Most people suppose that a bank lends the deposits of its customers. In fact, however, no bank ever lends its deposits.
Now let's stop now. Most people suppose that a bank will lend its customers deposits. However, no bank ever lends its customers deposits. So, Jim, doesn't that prove then that the bank makes these loans by doing something that we lack knowledge of?
Yes.
Okay? And most people don't understand how this works now, but I'm going to get up, and I hope the cord works right, so let me try it. Now, for this to make sense now, there's certain rules that we have to understand. Assets equals liabilities plus net worth. That is the Bible. That is governed by GAAP. Now, too, there's another rule. For every debit, Jim, there has to be a corresponding credit. Okay? So now looking at this simple chart here, that I see here in this account that this guy has $100 in his account, plus this $100 in his net worth account. So what that means is that that money is physically his, that he owns that. Okay? Now, Jim, you're going to lend me $50. So after the loan is done, how much money are you going to have?
I'm going to have $50 left.
Yeah, $50.
If
But why?
Because I have to take $50 out of my account.
So which means what? What's this account called? That's a credit. Minus $50 from 100 that we all know that's $50. Right? You don't have to be a mental giant to do that. Right?
Yep.
Now, let's look at the net worth account. Minus $50. Now, that's a debit. And now the net worth account now has what type of a balance is that, Jim? That's a credit balance. A credit balance. Now, in net worth account, that's the same thing that I have $50 in my pants. That's my money. Right? So if the bank don't loan this way, so now the bank, then now they monetize it. So what does that mean? Jim?
If the bank's loaning you the money,
right,
and not me, they don't take any money out of their net worth.
Fine, but where does the money arrive from?